समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So we start with verse 18 today, and so here it is. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. Those who are abiding in sattva go upwards. The rajasic dwell in the middle, and the tamasic, abiding in the function of the lowest guna, go downwards. Now, see, this is the process of evolution. That is why it is stating upwards and downwards. Upwards meaning those who are more evolved, and downwards means those who are less evolved, right? So here it clearly is indicated that it is not that once you are on one rung of the ladder, you cannot go down. Some people ask, na, that supposing you have a human form, can you go back into an animal form? The answer is yes, you can. It depends that what are your vasanas like. You see, if your vasanas are only to kill and to murder and to destroy others and to usurp the thing, then you go into an animal yoni where it is easier for you to do. Gurudev used to say, कि in that sense, this is total tamas. So when you do something like that, Gurudev used to say, then you go down on four legs and you are given a free tail. The human being is given a free tail, and because the human form is not a fit enough instrument for you to conduct your own vasanas or to carry out your own vasanas, living your vasanas, so whatever the Lord gives you is good enough for you. And I've always told you that the mind and the body, that is the subtle body and the gross body, are given to suit your vasanas. That is why you will notice every human being looks different, thinks differently, behaves differently. His mental capacities are different, his talents are different, his likes and dislikes are different, isn't it? Hmm? So that is what this is trying to say, that those who are abiding in sattva, that means those people who have predominantly sattvic vasanas, they go upwards, they go higher to subtler realms of experience. This here, higher and lower, only means the realms of experience. Don't we ever ask, in life, we ask, how come this one is so much luckier than me? How come that one is healthier than me? How come this one is prettier than me? How come this one is more intelligent than me? This is the reason that your past determines your subtle body as well as your gross body. And because of that, you are made the way you are made. And the kind of experiences you get in life are always similar experiences. Then the number two, which is the middle one, is Rajasic. Rajasic में क्या होता है? Desires and desires and desires. I want one more house. I want a bigger car than my neighbor. And then he says that what? I want to roam around the world. I don't want to be only a minister. I want to be a chief minister. Then chief minister, no, I want to be an industrialist. Now, all these are desires which come to you and which you want to fulfill, and therefore the middle path of Rajas. Rajas people are never satisfied. They are never satisfied. No matter how much shopping they do, no matter how many places they visit, no matter how many properties they buy, Don't we know industrialists and big people who have properties all over the world? Now just think about it. Where do they live? They live somewhere else. They cannot manage their properties, which are spread out all over the place. And so all those properties are going to the dogs. Their friends are enjoying them, but they can't. What's the great idea? But yes, they are there. This is the middle one. Okay. And then the lowest one I have just told you. The lowest one, is the one that experiences bliss and happiness in dullness, in intoxication of the mind, in sleep. They are the happiest when they are in sleep. देखो, उससे भी नीचे जाते हैं. This is only about human beings, I've told you. Lower than that, when you go, then you become stones, you can become an animal, you can become a bird, you can become a reptile, you can, it just depends on your vasanas. और आप किस तरह की चीजें, इसीलिए कहते हैं that please watch out your actions and your thinking. The main thing, if you go on doing the same thing in life all your life, then you are bound to become like that. Some people go on asking for money. Suna hai na, dekha hai na, they are never happy with how much they have, so they are always begging from the World Bank, begging from somebody higher than you, somebody richer than you, somebody who has more than you. कि why don't you give me, why don't you give me? I know people जिनका first sentence ये होता है, मुझे दे दो, मुझे दे दो. Can you imagine? And they are what? They are beggars. So अगले जन्म में क्या बनेंगे वो? Anybody's guess, isn't it? So that is what happens to them. Then there are others who don't want to move at all. एक ही जगह बैठे रहते हैं, सारी जिंदगी एक जगह बैठे रहते हैं. What will they become? A stone. No action. Don't want to do anything. You can become a plant, you can become an animal, you can become anything, you can become a tree, you can become an. So those who go down the ladder go to those fields of experience which are dull, stone like, and there is no evolution. For thousands of years he remains a stone. Think about it, how dangerous this is. Hmm? So Gurudev used to say, be very nice to your uncle and be very nice to animals, because they might be your late uncle or they might be your father, you never know. So please be very sweet to all the animals. Okay. Now then, people who want to evolve higher, they are not interested in the pleasures that are given by objects in the world. They don't care whether they have the choicest of diamond, the biggest of house, the biggest of, so they think that all this is not for me, I'm not interested in it. So what do they want? They want beatitude, they want bliss, they want total peace, they want a absolute total happiness, unclouded happiness, unspoiled happiness and bliss in the soul. Now, those are the people who evolve higher and higher. And when you see all these people, renunciates are what? Monks, sannyasis. What are they? They are the ones who have rejected the world because they feel that the world offers to me what I do not want. So they are looking for something higher. They are looking from something subtler. Okay? So their rajas and tamas is lessened and their sattva has become predominant. And so the sattvic virtues in them increase day by day. See, haven't you seen some sannyasis evolve higher and some go down? They even leave sannyas, get married, have a family. Why? Because their vasanas are like that. So this is all like the Gurudev gives a very good example of a staircase. Staircase generally when you go to the first floor from the ground floor, staircase is in two parts, isn't it? half the staircase, then there is a landing, a little platform made of landing, and then the second part, right? And then another landing, and then the third part. So these are like that. So the middle landing is of the people who are rajasic. The absolutely ones who are down below, who are just about to climb the stairs, are the tamasic ones. And the one who on the topmost, they are the sattvic ones. But please note, all these three, they show you different levels of the veiling of consciousness in you. The more the consciousness is unveiled, the more the divinity shines through you. You know, people, some people are so much more pleasant to talk to. They are so such nice company. You want to be with them and you like to be with them because they behave so beautifully all the time and they give you pleasure, isn't it? So those are the people who have these kind of sattvic qualities. Then the ones who you do not want to be with them at all because they are under depression, they are all the time talking of downward trends, they are talking of sorrow, they are talking of, their entire conversations are those of either decrying people, talking badly of people, all that. So that is that. And sattvic, of course, you know. So the sattvic mind is also a they are quiet, they are peaceful, but they're very dynamic. Those people are very creative. Sattvic people are very creative and they are all the time into thing. But understand that all these three, sattva, rajas, and tamas, they are all three shackles. And any personality, see, all human beings come under these three. ठीक है ना? The only person who goes beyond these, who's called a gunatit. So जो gunatit means gone beyond the gunas. Only that person can be liberated. Anybody who comes under the influence of these three gunas is cannot be liberated. Also understand that liberation is of the mind, not of the body. ठीक है ना? तो that is why we have a concept of जीवन मुक्त, because it is not after death. जब भी स्क्रिप्चर्स में लिखा भी होता है ना कि देहातीत को मोक्ष मिलता है, it means one who has gone beyond the body. Okay, that means राग द्वेष सब कुछ आते हैं उसमें. He is living in the world, he is eating, he is sleeping, he is talking, वो सब कर रहे हैं, लेकिन none of those things affect him. And if he is not affected by the body, that means he is totally detached with the body, subtle body as well as the gross body. And such a human being is called gunatita. Okay, so understand this please very badly, very nicely. Now another thing is that to recognize a human being under which guna he is, you know each one of us must recognize that. It's very, some people have predominant sattva, some have predominant rajas, some have predominant sattva. But we are a combination of all three in different proportions. So according to your past, your sattva will be predominant, or your rajas will be predominant, or your tamas will be predominant. And that is the kind of world you get, that is the kind of body you get, and that is the kind of mind you get. And you can only get moksha or liberation when mentally you are beyond these three gunas, not physically. Physical body तो अगर है तो वो तीनों गुणों के आधार में है. You know, it has a mixture of all the three. Okay. Now, moksha is a mental thing, and it is, all these three gunas are mental traps. मैंने आपको last time बताया था that gunas, guna also means ropes. So rope means what? That which can shackle you, which can tie you down. ठीक है ना? और रोप बनती कैसे है? रोप को कभी ट्विस्ट कर ऐसे ट्विस्टेड होती है ना, उसको कभी खोल के देखो, उसमें 3 स्ट्रैंड्स होते हैं ना? हाँ, गुथे हुए. ऐसे. So that is called a rope. That is called a गुणित, गणित, गुणा. ये सब जो हैं ये इसी वर्ड के डेरिवेटिव्स हैं. Come to the next one. नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति. It says, when the seer beholds no agent other than the gunas and knows that which is higher than the gunas, he attains to my being. Dekho what Krishna is saying here. He is saying that when the seer, that means the person who is trying to observe himself, जो अपने आप के ऊपर मनन करता है, he sees no agent other than the gunas. That means he does not consider himself as the doer. No agent means I am not the doer. Okay. So when I am not the doer and he understands that all these three gunas are dancing. Gurudev used to say कि supposing three girls are dancing, the three gunas, three girls are dancing and you are sitting and watching them. So they are getting tired, na? They are panting. How do you start panting? Understand, the person who understands that guna guneshu vartante, that gunas are interplaying amongst themselves in my mind and body. My mind and body is conditioned by gunas, but I am not the body. That person who understands that I am not the body and therefore I am not the doer, he is the person who merges with the Lord, who merges with pure consciousness. Because if he is not the body, then what is he? What is he if he is not the body? See, hum log beyond our body we know nothing, isn't it? We all think that I am this body and I am this mind. है ना? So if you, Vedanta is telling you, logically showing to you, demonstrating to you that you are neither the body nor the mind. This is all just matter. Matter cannot act on its own in any way. So the dynamo that is charging this matter is what I am, because of which I say this is my body, this is my mind. Okay? So the person to whom the body belongs, to whom the mind belongs, is the actual person. So the body and mind is not the doer. And that person who understands this, he attains to my being. He says, Dekho, Gurudev gives the example of a train. If you are sitting in a train and moving, okay, you feel you are moving, but you are not moving, you are only sitting, isn't it? You are not walking. If you say, I went to Kanpur from Lucknow by train, how did you go? You are using the word go, but you are inactive. Go is a verb. So, how did you go? Sitting, and you reached Lucknow. The train moved. So, the person who understands that I am not moving, it is something else that is moving. When he is clear on that, then when you can stand apart from your mind and watch the thinking, you can watch your body moving, you can watch all the actions moving as a witness standing in a balcony. You distance yourself, stand in the balcony and watch the play of your mind and your body. Get away from the mind, distance yourself from the mind, disidentify yourself from the mind, and then watch such a person. If you disidentify from the mind and body, you will identify with pure consciousness. And that is the reason you will, by this process, you attain a meditative state of mind which is very pure, very subtle, and totally, totally identified with uh, the pure consciousness. Okay? And this is, understand that the dance of thoughts will go on. Watch it. Watch it. They come and they go. They create themselves, then they disappear. They come from memory and they go back God knows where. They project themselves into the future and come back again to the base. So, but you are not going anywhere, you are not doing anything. In 1 second, your mind is in New York. In 1 second, your mind is in London. In 1 second, your mind has come back here. In 1 second, your mind has gone back in time. When I was a child, I fell into a pond. What are you? The present is not that pond, nor that child, nor the falling, but your mind has already reached there. So the mind, it travels distances here, there, and everywhere, and it keeps on all the time attaching itself to objects and experiences which you should not. Okay. Now, then, the person who has once understood the pure consciousness, he has got a full darshan of pure consciousness. He becomes pure consciousness. He can never forget who he is. है ना? वो सबने स्टोरी सुनी हुई है ना, of the tiger who thought he was a lamb. A little tiger cub, was brought up by a sheep, and he thought that he's a lamb because he used to start bleating like sheep and he used to behave like sheep, till one day he saw his image in the water. When he saw his image in the water, the tiger cub understood that he is not a lamb, he is a tiger. But once he has understood that he is a tiger, will he ever bleat again like lamb? No, he will never do that. Never do that. Because seen once is seen forever. And that is why he says here that the person who knows, he says, he attains to my being, that happens forever. Another example that is given is of the river Ganga, or any river that goes towards the ocean. On its journey, it has got a name, है it has got a shape, bound on two sides, it is bound, and the flow is going into one direction. Okay, all those things are there. The water is sweet, Ganges water. Once it reaches the ocean, it loses its identity. This example we have done many times. It loses its identity totally. The water becomes salty. The name is changed from Ganga, first to Ganga Sagar and then to Sagar. So it loses its name, it loses its shape. First it was bound on two sides by the bank. Now it is the expanse from coast to coast. You cannot even see the other coast. है ना? So everything changes, the name changes, the shape changes, the quality of the water changes, everything changes. No longer Ganges. So the entity of the Ganges has taken a full change. So the person who reaches the Lord, he becomes the Lord. He becomes pure consciousness because he has understood that he is not that, he is the consciousness. So the mind gone, the ego gone, mind and ego is the same thing basically. ठीक है, subtle body, mind and ego एक ही चीज है. You can call it by different names. ठीक है. Okay, so now this example we have done. The other example Gurudev has given here in your book only is a dreamer. A dreamer on waking, his spirit was entangled, Gurudev writes, in matter. That is a man. Once his spirit is disengaged from matter, he becomes pure spirit. Yeah. So it is basically getting away from your gross body and subtle body, and because these are only equipments given to you. But who are you? Understand who you are. Just as the dreamer identifies with the dream body and the dream mind, so also we identify with this body and with our mind, which is just matter. So disentangle from here and get entangled with who you truly are. So merge totally. Okay, then the next one. गुणानेतानतीत्यतीन् देही देह समुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखे विमुक्तो मृतमश्नुते. So Gurudev said that our sadhana should be to develop the habit of being happy and contented at all times. This should be the sadhana. Just imagine. कितनी बड़ी बात गुरुदेव ने कही है. ये बहुत बड़ी साधना है, believe me. At the drop of a hat we become unhappy. At the drop of a hat we become angry. At the drop of a hat our ego rises. है ना? हाँ, थिंक अबाउट इट. इस पे बात पे मनन करने की जरूरत है बेटा, बहुत बहुत मनन करने की जरूरत है ऑन दिस थिंग. रियली यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दिस, दैट Gurudev said, in all times, in all situations, in all circumstances, nothing should be able to wipe the smile away from your face. बहुत बड़ी साधना है ये, बहुत ही बड़ी साधना है. अच्छे अच्छे फेल हो जाते हैं इसमें. हाँ, देखना तो हम और आप तो कोई चीज ही नहीं है, you know. So we must practice. We are householders, ordinary people, but this is the sadhana Gurudev gave while teaching this verse to us. Okay. Now then, what does the verse say? The embodied one, having crossed beyond these three gunas, out of which the body is evolved, is freed from birth, death, decay, pain, and attains to immortality. ये पांच जो चीजें हैं, देखो, बर्थ, डेथ, डीके एंड उसके बाद डिजीज आता है, यहाँ पे पेन लिखा है गुरुदेव ने, एंड अटेन्स टू इमोर्टैलिटी. ठीक है ना? तो यू गो बियॉन्ड, दीज आर ऑल कंडीशंस ऑफ द बॉडी, दे बिलोंग ओनली टू द बॉडी. द पर्सन हु हैज गॉन बियॉन्ड द बॉडी डज नॉट फील दीज. देखो, किसी और के को दर्द हो रहा हो तो आपको दर्द होता है क्या? नहीं होता ना, because you understand that you are not him. Clearly you understand that, right? Similarly, when you clearly understand that I am not this body, तो ये जो विकार हैं ये बॉडी के हैं. Everybody goes through these vikars. Everybody goes through these vikars. कौन से? बर्थ होता है, हाँ, और फिर उसके बाद ग्रोथ. यहाँ पे ग्रोथ आता है. ग्रोथ इज ऑल्सो अ विकार. Birth, growth, then decay, then disease, and then death. Those are the vikars actually. But even these, if you take, these are all what? Body. ये सब के सब बॉडी के हैं. तो द पर्सन, द embodied one, जब आप जिंदा ही हैं, आप बॉडी में ही हैं, हाँ, तब भी आप, यू कैन क्रॉस ओवर दीज थ्री गुणास एंड यू गो बियॉन्ड द बॉडी. You evolve beyond the dharmas of the body, then these dharmas do not affect you. Gurudev's example from the book I'm giving: somebody who's standing in the courtyard under a burning sun. बहुत तेज धूप है. Indians will understand this very well because there is, the summer heat of India is terrible, terrible. It becomes so hot, you can fry an egg on the bonnet of a car. Try it, it will be fried. So then the thing is that it is so hot you can't touch it. जैसे जलता हुआ तवा होता है ना, इट्स बिकम्स लाइक दैट. So if you're standing in the sun, you are getting all the heat, all the thing. So when you disengage from the sun and you come into the court, you come into your room, आहा suddenly peace. एकदम शांति 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 हो जाती है. होता है या नहीं होता है? What have you done? You have disengaged from the heat of the sun and come into the shelter of the shade of the room. Huh? And so, in the same way, when you disidentify from the gunas are the one that cause all the turbulence in your life. Complete turbulence in your life is caused by the gunas. So, when you disengage from the gunas and understand that they are happening only to the body, then you will be freed of their dictatorship. You will be free of that tyrannical rule of the gunas. Otherwise, all of us are under the tyrannical rule of the gunas only. ठीक है ना? Now then, only the person who crosses over gunas crosses over avidya, crosses over maya. Hmm? That is what Gurudev has written, that he crosses over causal body. Causal body जो है ना, देखो कारण शरीर, हाँ, you can jot it down if you like. कारण शरीर, vasanas, hmm, avyakt, unmanifest, maya, non-apprehension, ignorance. These are all the name of the same thing. All these are the names of the same thing. And you know, ये जो हैं, ये गुणों से होते हैं. All these happen only with the help of the gunas. All the gunas have the potentiality of disturbing your mind. They have a potentiality of giving you pain. They have a potentiality of putting you into sorrow and depression. And you are all the time crying and disturbed and all that. Why? Because your mind is taking you for a ride. Your mind is projecting all kind of things which may not even happen. है ना? Somebody gave me a very nice sticker which they put on the fridges, those क्या कहते हैं, magnetic stickers which you put on the fridge. So some child gave it to me, and you know what was written on that? Don't worry, it may never happen. Which is so true. So true. Because we just project our mind into पता है ये होगा ये होगा ये होगा. And there are some people who are so good at it कि they say हम लिख के दे देते हैं आपको कि ये हो. अरे भाई आप परमात्मा तो नहीं हो. You are not the Lord. You are not the one who determines the future. You do not know your own future. What are you determining other people's future about? पहले अपना तो बता दो कि आपकी लाइफ में क्या हो रहा है या क्या होना है. So don't delve into the future and get disturbed. Don't go into the past and get disturbed. One of the main reasons why you are unhappy is this only, that your mind keeps traveling forward and backward in time and space. Those are the antics of the mind. They are the dance of the mind. Anybody who starts participating with the mind, who starts dancing the same dance as the mind, is the one who totally goes under. Otherwise, we are blissful people. We are very blissful otherwise. Have you seen how when you are in deep sleep, all your sorrows vanish? देखा या नहीं देखा? So what has happened in deep sleep? You have gone into the Karan Sharir. You have gone into the causal body, which is only bliss. Have you seen a sleeping child? कैसा बिल्कुल शांत लगता है. all his mischief has gone into a seed form. The moment he gets up, the moment he awakes, all the mischief he starts doing back again. Hota ya nahi hota? So that is what it is. You see, vasanas say causal body say subtle body say gross body. This is how the body is made. And you have to disidentify with this sharira. Once you disidentify with all these bodies, then you come into a state of peace, bliss, and your true self, which is your true self. So, as Gurudev has written, the embodied one goes through all these vikaras: birth, growth, uh, pain, disease, change, and death. So all these things these are body modifications. They are pain givers. They are sorrow givers, and they, if you identify with them, it will all happen to you. All the sorrows belong to matter, as Gurudev has written. He used to all the time give this example that a waker cannot cry for his wife who died in the sleep. गुरुदेव का ये पेटेंट एग्जाम्पल था to tell you that once you have woken up, how will you cry for that wife who died in the sleep? She is sleeping next to you on the same bed that you were sitting up on. So no matter how horrible the dream was, that how badly she died, huh? Fell from the rooftop or a murderer came and stabbed her, all those things belong to the dream. They do not belong to reality at all. Huh? So the one who does not identify with the body, he transcends the body and he goes gunatita, and therefore he is all into bliss. So that is how it is. There he also lives the positive joy of perfection. He understands that none of these vikaras are in me. I am free of all these, and therefore he is in bliss. Some people call it moksha, some call it immortality, some call it whatever. Now, the question that the next verse is asking is a very important question. It is reminiscent of the second chapter also, where Arjun wants to know, and Arjun asks the same question. And it is that, see, Arjuna gets an occasion for asking these questions regarding the nature and behavior of a God man. कि ओके, किसी को मोक्ष मिल भी गई, मान लीजिए जीवन मुक्त हो गया वो, how does he behave? How does he talk? How does he walk? How does he eat? How does he interact with the other beings? Or he becomes a different kind of person. Now, see this verse. Arjuna uvacha kerlinge strin gunan etan atito bhavati prabho kimachara katham chetan strin gunan tivartate. What are the marks of him who has crossed over the three gunas, O Lord? What is his conduct and how does he go beyond these three gunas? So there are two questions in this. One is how does he go beyond the three gunas? And the other question is that how do you recognize such a person? उसके marks क्या होते हैं? What are the marks? The word here used is linga. So linga means a symbol. This word has been borrowed or taken from this thing from logicians. You know, logicians जो के reason out करते हैं. This because of this, that is because of that, that is because of that, and therefore. So with logic, they prove something or the other, like you do in algebra and geometry and other things also. In that is logician. So a lot of knowledge in this world is gained through inference. Okay. Now, ling is a symbol which is an inferential symbol. That means through the ling, you get knowledge of something else other than the ling. Ling to symbol hai. Any symbol is called a ling. Shivling is a symbol of that ultimate truth, the Shiva. Shiva. It is a symbol. ठीक है? तो over here, यहाँ पे देखिए, when you see the linga, you are reminded of something other, and it proves to you, or rather, it gives to you the knowledge of something totally other, which is not visible. The ling is a visible symbol, and it gives you the knowledge of the invisible truth that it is representing. Okay? हाँ, अब जैसे नेशनल फ्लैग भी है, शिवलिंग का भी एग्जाम्पल है, फ्लैग का एग्जाम्पल है. फ्लैग इज नॉट द नेशन, but it is a symbol of the nation. So everybody salutes the flag because you respect the nation. So you salute the symbol of the nation. Soldiers die for the flag, isn't it? It is only 6 yards of silk fluttering in the breeze. But everyone stands up to give it respect. Everybody salutes it because it is symbolic of the beloved country that you are born in and that you live in, isn't it? Hmm. So here it is. ये देखिए, he's asked, Arjun is asking this. Now notice also, the Lord answers this question. He has already answered it in the second chapter. But here also look at the patience of the Lord, who is answering slowly, slowly, softly, trying to explain to him what kind of a person is the realized master. And also understand that in our tradition, questions are asked and questions are answered. That is the method of teaching in Hinduism. In all our scriptures, the disciple or the student is allowed to throw questions at the teacher. And it is the duty of the teacher that no matter how many times the student asks, he must reply. He must teach and he must reply. See? So, देखो यहाँ पर क्या है? Krishna has already answered it in the second chapter. Again, the same student is asking the same questions. Huh? And so, therefore, this is the question of any doubter, any skeptic. A skeptic okay. आपको कैसे पता चलेगा that this person is realized? Gurudev used to say that he does not sprout horns. There is no outward mark by which you can recognize a realized master. And he has said it time and again. Scriptures have said it time and again. He eats like you, he talks like you, he feels hungry, he feels thirsty, he does give in to sleep, his body gives in to sleep, and he talks like you, he jokes like you, he interacts with people like you. ऐसा थोड़ी है कि वो कुछ और बन जाता है once he realizes, because it is a happening which happens at a mental level. It does not happen at the body level. So when moksha takes place at the mind level, there have to be mental changes, not physical changes. Okay? First, these texts were the monopoly of the Brahmins. And Brahmins started saying that nahi nahi pata hai, scriptures mein bhi likha hua hai that this is not to be taught to everybody. Everybody means what? पात्रता होनी चाहिए ना, हाँ, अधिकारी होना चाहिए. अगर आप अधिकारी हैं, if you have that much of purity of mind to digest this knowledge, then you are an adhikari, and the knowledge must be taught to you. So it cannot be denied to you. But in the misinterpretation of this thing, the Brahmins were really, Gurudev says it was the cruel spirit of secrecy. Look at his language. He says it is the cruel spirit of secrecy that the Brahmins cultivated, and they kept this whole treasure to themselves and never shared it. Gurudev used to say that you must share this knowledge. If you know it, your teacher has given it to you, You must share it with others as many times as you think, because otherwise this knowledge will putrefy. You have to. So the Hindu philosophy, Gurudev said, is a way of life. It is to be lived every day. It is not that just on Sunday you go to the temple, or that is on any particular day of the week is your worship day. All the rest you can commit murders and rapes. No, that is not what Hinduism is about. So, Hinduism, as Gurudev has written over here, is here Krishna is allowing Arjun to ask questions. He is open to the disciple asking questions, and that is because Arjun represents the common man. Arjun represents people like you and me who just don't believe everything that the teacher is saying, or swallow down everything what the teacher is saying. Ha, theek hai, theek hai. Are, if your intellect is not understood it, ask him till you understand. Even I used to put so many questions to Gurudev. I used to constantly be asking him things because I wanted clarity in my own mind. And believe me, the person who gains that clarity, he becomes the best person who to believe in all this scriptures, because he is sure in his mind, he is absolutely certain in his mind. The teacher has taught him absolutely without a doubt and with perfect clarity, and that is the glory of the teacher. Now the question that he is asking is, what are the marks by which a man who has gone beyond the influences of the three gunas can be recognized, and also that what is his relationship with the world outside. Arjun wants to know, how does he interact in this world. He has to be going to the marketplace also to buy his bread, to buy his milk, to interact with people, because the body has to survive. So how does he do it? What are the signs, and how do you recognize such a master? Hmm? So the next verse will be giving you that. We will do that next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishtate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.